There is no summer without a good rosé, and a twist top is supposed to be easy. Oh my God. Welcome to a new series that I am calling Wine Wednesday. We don't believe in complaining around here, but if you're going to wine, then pour me one. Today we are pouring a lovely glass of rosé thanks to the sponsor of this episode, Summer Water. They were so kind and sent me a lot of wine, if we're being honest. You cannot have summer without a good rosé, so I'm very excited I've already had Summer Water before. I'm quite a fan, but it's good to pretend like you forget what it tastes like and give it a go. So, shall we? Oh my God, stop it. This is not the moment that I'm going to tell you it's 11 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday. Okay. Oh my God, it's just so refreshing. It makes me want to call all my friends right now and sit on a patio somewhere. The one thing that I notice about this wine is that it is not very sweet, and that actually is because it is light in sugar. So if that's a thing that you're worried about, but you still want to have that very basic rosé in your hand this summer, this is the one for you. Summer is coming, so make sure you check out Summer Water. The link is in the description below. Oh yes, we're ready now. I wanted to get out of my office for this conversation because I felt like it would be a lot more cozy to do Wine Wednesday in my living room. So welcome to my living room. I don't know if you've seen it before. You may have seen it in some vlogs, but I definitely thought that it was the right tone for the content of today's video. If I'm being honest, I don't really believe in regret, even though it's absolutely in the title of this video, but I don't really believe in it because I think that everything that we do, every action, has a lesson attached to it, whether it was a great one or a painful one. And as much as I would like to say I don't have any regrets, there are definitely some things that I did in my 20s that I am extremely annoyed about or sad and very passionate about others not making the same mistake. So that's what I want to talk about today on this Wine Wednesday. Things that I did in my 20s that were not only disappointing, but continue to still upset me in my 30s. Before we can get started, you know what time it is. We have to show a little Twitter gratitude, and today I want to shine a light on Tiffany. Tiffany, thank you so much for tuning into these videos, and even more so for that retweet. I appreciate you and I acknowledge you for being a part of this community. I am so grateful. If you would potentially like to be featured here on Twitter Gratitude, all you have to do is follow me on Twitter and retweet my video the next time you see it come out. All right, here are 5 things I did in my 20s that I definitely regret now. First up, fake bake. This is absolutely my biggest regret of all time. I get so upset when I hear that people are going to partake in this now in 2019. I'm like, okay, you guys, it's 2019. I feel like we got the memo. But I continue to deal with the repercussions of it in my own skin. I actually remember asking my mom if she would let me go tanning. I think it was like I went a couple of times before my prom. And that was what started the whole thing. When I moved out, I was tanning all the time. So when I moved out, I was 18. But this went into my 20s. I think it was when I was 20 or 21 years old. I was working at a law firm. I was definitely 21 by this point. And I was talking to an attorney who pointed out a sunspot on her face. And she wasn't much older than me. She was probably 5-6 years older than me. And she said, "Do you see this? This is a sunspot. This is from getting too much sun." And I got so scared at that moment. I cold turkey never went back to the tanning bed again, and I started getting very aggressive about sunscreen. I also, in that same office, was getting really good advice from the ladies working there that I should start investing in skincare early on in my life because I had really good skin at the time. I don't not have good skin now, but I definitely have imperfections that came to me anyway. Even though I cold turkey stopped at that moment, I still got the repercussions of going tanning too much a couple of years later, and I still have a sunspot that I've spent a lot of money on to get rid of, and it won't go away. So if you hear me right now, at a minimum, do not tan your face. At a minimum, you should not tan your face or your neck, and even maybe your chest area. Just always have sunscreen. Like, I have a spray sunscreen ready to go for my décolleté, and I always have a sunscreen on my face. You know, if I'm traveling, I'm on a beach or at a pool or something, like, I'll get a little bit of sun on the rest of my body, but I promise you I'm actually putting on 30 every 30 minutes because I will still get color by doing that because I'm Irish and I burn very quickly. And so the only way to make it not lobster red is to have 30 on and put it on every 30 minutes. 30, 30. It's very easy to remember. But I have 50 on my face, like nonstop. Just spraying it on all the time. Eyes shut, obviously. My second biggest regret is student loans. Why wasn't anyone talking about how stupid school is when I was in school? Okay? I feel like I missed out on this revolution. This is something I haven't talked a lot about publicly because it feels so dirty to me. It feels so dirty that it happened. It feels so dirty that I had to deal with it. And it feels so dirty that I went to school for absolutely no reason. Taking out student loans to go to school, I don't poo-poo that. I think it makes sense. But I wish that I would have been better coached by a financial advisor in my teens going into college or something, that taking out student loans to go to a college program that I really didn't have a vision for my career, that I was just doing it to do it. I think that's why it was the biggest mistake. I don't think that it was like you shouldn't get student loans, period, to go to school. I think it makes sense for a lot of people. It was that I was not focused in any capacity on what my education was going to be, and then I took out loans to pay for it anyway. What ended up happening? I left school. I got the job when people who were graduating weren't getting jobs at all. I had an incredible opportunity for the degree I was going for. So it was really hard for me to go, I'm gonna quit this full-time job with a great 401k and benefits and all that fun stuff so that I can go back and go finish my degree, which happens during business hours, obviously, and then maybe give up this job that I would want when I graduate to give to someone else. Wasn't gonna do that. And then I ended up finding a completely separate passion, and that's how I ended up here today. So college did nothing for me. I have mad respect for my school. I have mad respect for people who go to school. I have mad respect for people who have a degree. I just didn't happen to need one at any point. And yet I was allowing the norm to distract me into thinking I had to do it, so I was wasting time doing it. And wasting money. I don't even regret the time. I believe that you learn everything at any point. I took a lot of great classes. I learned a lot of good stuff. But the money, that money spent is basically completely wasted. And I think that sucks a lot. That's money I could have put toward a lot of things. No matter what your opinion is on school, I don't care how old you are, get your head out of the sand and get some advice about finances, because you can really screw up 7 to 10 years of the period of time where it starts to get really cool if you don't. My third regret is Diet Pepsi. I love my father dearly, but he introduced soda to me at a very young age. And I appreciated it at the time, I'm not gonna lie. He definitely won me over with the Coca-Colas. Then I got older, and 18, 19, 20, I'm working at jobs, and I still got my soda habit, but then I start to recognize calories and why they matter. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm drinking a lot of calories. I better switch to diet. So I switched to diet. I didn't switch to Diet Coke, I switched to Diet Pepsi. I was like, well, this is worlds better. And I was drinking 7 a day. 7! Okay, but really, there's that feeling when you crack open your first one and it's like all fizzy and you take a drink and you're like, eye waters a little bit and you're like, This is probably why I never tried drugs, now that I'm thinking about it. Oh, if you were waiting for that to be a regret, spoiler alert, I never did drugs, sorry. Diet Pepsi? Yes, I was hooked. Basically could have been an IV. I regret this mostly because we don't know what the effects of it are. I remember not feeling good a lot of the time. I remember eating more a lot of the time because I was drinking something that was making me more hungry, even though it wasn't costing me calories directly. And I just don't know what aspartame has done to my body over time. I don't. I'm hoping the things I do on a daily basis now are helping to correct that, and it's been a long time. I think I've had 1 sip of soda in the last year, and not very many in the last 7 or so. But, you know, kind of sucks to think I was doing that to myself for so long. My fourth biggest regret is potentially a little controversial, and that is falling in love. It's amazing that you will give somebody such a big title as the one when you are a delusional young adult. When you date a bunch of frogs who are obviously frogs and they make it clear to you, I just wish I would have believed them and skipped all that heartache. I really believe that I wasted a lot of time worrying about the feelings of other people, feelings that I could not control, when I could have just been enjoying the time. And now looking back, the good times that I had with anyone that I claimed to have loved at that point, they were great. They were great. But all of the crap that you kind of manufacture in your head made it all kind of suck overall. So yeah, take your time falling in love, kids, okay? I know you don't get to decide what that timeline is, but you gotta make sure you love yourself first before you can let somebody else do it too. And my fifth regret is credit cards, because credit cards. Do you need a credit card in your 20s when you make no money? Absolutely not. The name of the game, and I will never forget, my boss told me this. We were in a boardroom once, and we were sitting there. We were just making a bunch of fundraising calls at the time, so money was top of mind. I was asking him questions about what he thought about credit cards, and he said, listen, like, you should not ever use a credit card unless you're going to pay it off in full every month. And at the time, I was thinking, oh, crap. I've already racked up some credit card debt, and this paycheck ain't gonna do that for me. So it was not a good feeling at the time, but it's so true. Credit cards can be hugely advantageous. You can get a lot of great things out of them. But in my 20s, it was very easy to go crazy with them. And I did. Oh, yes, I did. Yes, there are some regrets that I have, but the reality is all the things that we do become lessons over time and make me who I am today, and I don't regret who I am today in any way, shape, or form. I think the most important thing is that you can have some regrets, but you gotta learn from them and move on. You cannot let them paralyze you, okay? Stuff happens, learn from it, grow from it, move on, and then don't do it again. It's that simple. Now I want to hear from you. What is something that you have regretted but now moved on from? Share that in the comments below. Thanks again to Winc for sponsoring this episode of Wine Wednesday. I'm so pumped to be taking these lovely bottles over to the girls' house for some Real Housewives watching, of course. And I'm not gonna lie, you should check out my Instagram because they sent me a lot of wine. They have all these beautiful bottles. They're designed differently. They're big, they're small, and I had a heyday in a photo shoot with them. So make sure you check that out. Summer is coming, so you better get that summer water. The link is in the description below. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Make sure you subscribe for good vibes, kiss the ones you love, and go after the life you want. Cheers. My second bigger I probably should have ate before this, but I feel like I'm very blinky in this episode today. Got a lot of lights.